I would like to welcome our first speaker, Diletta Zonta from REGIO, who will introduce the work that has been done and a bit on the concept as well on the right to stay. Welcome.
Good afternoon, everybody. I have the hard mission, I think, of keeping you awake because we didn't get coffee. So just bear with me for a few minutes, and then I'll be looking at who's still awake after 7 minutes of my presentation. But judging from the number of people that are here in this room, I can imagine and guess that right to stay is not only a buzzword that we've been hearing more and more, but also a concept and an idea that really is close to many of us and our interests, and of course the interests of rural communities. So my name is Diletta Zonta. I work for DG REGIO in the unit 03, cities, communities, people. I'm responsible for the implementation of a commission initiative called Talent Booster Mechanism. And I'm also leading the work on the file called Right to Stay. In my presentation today, I just want to share a few numbers that I'm sure you're already aware of, but really contextualize a little bit what we're talking about, tell you a little bit more about the Talent Booster Mechanism. It's been working on the ground for the past 2.5 years, so I think it's time to draw a few lessons learned from the implementation, which can also inform right to stay and future policies, and also tell you a little bit, just a little bit, about right to stay in the future. So let me share some data first. Since 2012, the EU natural population change is negative, meaning that we have more deaths than births since 2012. The graph that you see on the right is fresh data from Eurostat. It shows that it's actually net inward migration that keeps population still slightly growing, but actually we have a number of countries, the ones that are on the right side, that have been losing people. Some of these countries, like Bulgaria, Greece, Croatia, Latvia, Poland, and Romania, they've been losing people because more people are leaving the country rather than entering. And other countries like Italy, Lithuania, and Hungary are still experiencing losing population despite the net inward migration. Also, the EU working age population continues to shrink. This is also fresh data from a couple weeks back from Eurostat. The old age dependency ratio continues to decrease. You have also the 24 data and a projection for 2100. This is a map. The red color indicates this is data between 2014 and 2021, but it shows you the change in the working age population. So where you see the red, it means that the working age population has been decreasing. There's a lot of red, as you can see. And I guess you can imagine it already. It's the rural areas, it's in particular the remote and the sparsely populated areas that are most exposed to those changes. These changes have particular implications on economic vitality, on labor market dynamics, on the provision of public services. A shrinking workforce coupled with a higher demand of healthcare and elderly care puts pressure on the local economies and the financing of social infrastructure, and all of this may in turn push people to relocate. And also, as in the Diletta report we have read, may also fuel what he calls a geography of discontent. This, of course, can have public, some puts pressure on public authorities, pressures on, because of the lower fiscal revenues, the rise in per capita cost to maintain essential services for the quality of life of inhabitants. Of course, cohesion policy already plays a role. in helping rural areas, rural regions to remain or become attractive. I'm not going to enter, the topic of ITIs, CLLDs. They've been already discussed, and I'm sure you're very well aware about those. And of course, the important resources that cohesion policy devotes to transport, digital connectivity, access to services, but also to the integrated bottom-up approaches. It is, however, with the talent booster mechanism that was launched in January 2023 that the Commission really wanted to provide targeted support to those regions in the EU that are particularly affected by the impacts of demographic change. The mechanism identified 82 regions in 16 member states that are facing a specific set of challenges. The 46 regions that you see in red are in a talent development trap already now. It means that they are affected by two phenomena. The first one is a sharp decline of their workforce, and the second phenomenon is the low share of people with a university degree. They are already now, today, in a talent development trap. The 36 regions that you see in yellow are at risk of falling into such trap. It means that they are experiencing an important out-migration of their young population. These regions had the opportunity to apply to dedicated calls and receive assistance to basically develop strategies to mitigate the effects of demographic change. Just very quickly, you see the building blocks of the talent booster mechanism. It's about, there were some calls, as I just said, but really a number of services that were targeting the wider community. We have 4 working groups that are working right now. One of them is right now working on a paper on essential services that should be published and available at the beginning of next year. A number of flagship projects were also launched under the technical support instrument, the Interregional Innovation Investment Instrument, the I3, and under the European Urban Initiative. So far, support has been materializing in a number of countries and regions, so 89 regions and cities. All of these just to say that a lot is happening in many regions. I just wanted to share this with you. We have a platform, the Harnessing Talent platform. There is a knowledge repository where you can find lots of information, data, reports, and up there you see quality of life and equal access to services. So it is indeed one of the thematics that this platform is trying to bring forward. But I would like to perhaps share a few insights from the implementation of the talent booster mechanism. So something that we have seen materializing via the support that was provided by consultants and by the OECD. First of all, it's the needs of embedding the demographic realities into policy making. It's really about the data. It's really about understanding the motivations of people. Why do they want to leave? Why do they want to come back? It's really about having a granular knowledge of what is going on the ground. If you are thinking, if a region or an authority is thinking, for example, of developing a strategy, what is going on the ground, first and foremost, integrate eventually also the projections of population in the future, if that's available. And perhaps the colleague from Spain will tell us a little bit more about it, because I guess that it's also linked to the strategy that Spain has on demographic change. So maybe we'll hear more about evidence-based strategy. It is also, we know that quality of life, access to services does play a very, very important role. Jobs, careers are absolutely important elements, of course, of the reasons for a person or an individual to stay or come back, but it's not the only factor in the equation. Affordable housing, cost of living, healthcare, quality public spaces, efficient transport infrastructure, they do play a role in shaping the long-term settlement choices of individuals. I think that the case of Alentejo that we will hear afterwards will also, by the way, Alentejo is one of the regions that has received technical assistance through the talent booster mechanism, and I think it's a perfect example really of trying to think in an ecosystem approach how to address a certain challenge that the colleague will tell us about. It's also about understanding the local skills needs. It's about mapping these skills and the available competencies that are in a territory. It's about gaining an understanding of labor market needs, ensure that the curricula and the funding priorities match. It's about the famous skills match, of course, and really aligning that with the regional skills demands and the demands of employers. It's about, of course, ensuring that local and rural actors are part of the dialogue, are part of the decisions, and that their needs are being taken into consideration. Multi-level governance and partnerships. The experience we have from the project is that we need that for effective cross-sectoral policy decisions and implementations. Some of the policies or some of the challenges that rural communities face, they're not necessarily or not ultimately all the time in their hands. It's important to have multi-level governance and really contextualize and ensure that there are mechanisms of dialogue and working for effective implementation on the ground with the actors involved. It's about reforms. I think that we will hear about those more and more as we move forward, but it's ensuring that these reforms are addressing the needs of regions and territories and rural communities. Interregional cooperation, circulation of talents. The talent booster mechanism really had at its core and has at its core the idea that talent is absolutely important. It's about retaining the talent and attracting new talent if possible. So circulation of talents is an opportunity for pooling resources, for sharing learnings, and also for making joint investments in strategic sectors. Sorry, I mean interregional cooperation is not just about always and systematically seeing talent as in a competition, but also trying to pool resources to see whether several communities or local authorities can actually pool these together to address shared or similar concerns. And then finally, a validation of what we call a cohesion method, which means that there is no size fits all to the problem, that we need to go bottom up, we need to go see what the territories need, to build integrated strategies, to really build on the assets of territories, not just address the challenges, and really do that by engaging the stakeholders for designing the solutions and for developing place-based policies. Just a word on right to stay. So it is one of the priorities of the European Commission. It features in the mission letter of Executive Vice President Fito. What does it mean? Well, it means that we need to support what community needs. We need to give citizens the possibility to remain in the place they call home. And we need to do that by ensuring solutions and policies are coherently working together to access quality jobs, affordable housing, healthcare, education, and at the end of the day, to really give possibly a positive spin and really invest on the attractiveness of communities and overall quality of life of citizens. The Commission has translated this ambition in its proposal for the fund, the horizontal fund. Right to stay is in fact one of the specific objectives of the fund. The fund identifies the right to stay as an enabler to support attractiveness of territories and puts the accent on strategies for the integrated development of urban and rural areas, access to territorial services and infrastructure. So the Commission, I'll be very much in listening mode today. I very much look forward to the group discussions. I would really love to hear what right to stay means to you, what are the conditions for you that make an individual want to stay or come back or remain in a rural community, in a rural area. And as Commission, we will be working on that in the next month. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Diletta, for the comprehensive presentation about the work done on the talent booster mechanism, and as well a sneak peek of what the right to stay is being conceptualized, understood within DigiRegio. So we start now with the next speakers. I would like to welcome Cristian from the Ministry of the Demographic Challenge, who will introduce relevant policy strategies being implemented in Spain.
Good afternoon, everybody. First, I would like to thank the Rural Pact for inviting us to share with you some innovative practice that we are trying to deliver. So my name is Cristian Garcia Alonso. I'm part of the Ministry for the Ecological Transition and the Demographic Challenge in Spain. And I'm going to talk about these functional rural areas to deliver essential and other enabling services in 30 minutes. But first, to understand a little bit, why are we doing this in the ministry? So I would like to talk about the context. Why are we doing the demographic challenge public policy? So basically, well, you all know that there is the global trend of demographic change happening, I would say everywhere. But Spain has some specific characteristics. We have like low fertility rates. We are like the second lowest fertility. We have the lowest, second lowest fertility rate in the European Union. All around Europe, I guess we are increasing in life expectancy. Spain has one of the highest rates. And this is leaving us to, well, have over around 20% of the population in Spain is over 65 years old. But if we look at rural areas, we will have around 25%. And if we go to towns under 1,000 inhabitants, we will have almost 1 out of 3 people over 65 years old. Apart from this, this is very specific from Spain if you compare to other countries. So we are a sparsely populated country. We can see that the red color here in the map, it's mainly in the Nordic countries. And then we can find in the Iberian Peninsula, sharing with a colleague from Portugal, some spaces that are really sparsely populated. And what we have in Spain is like really an even population distribution. Half of the municipalities in Spain have, almost half of the municipalities have under 12.5 inhabitants per square kilometer. So that means that almost half of the municipalities would be in a ratio that would be really in risk of the population according to EU standards. And in 6% of the territory, we have 40% of the population, compared to this 56% of the population of the territory that only has like 8% of the people that are living in the country. So basically the population is accumulated in large cities, it's accumulated in the coast and in the islands. And we can see that in the rural areas, we have like, it's generalized, the population. More than 80% of the municipalities in rural areas are have lost population in the last decade. So this is, we think it's not just a demographic issue, it's a territorial cohesion challenge, and it's a problem for equity, for opportunities, and for democracy. That was the context, and what we are delivering is this demographic challenge policy. We believe this is a countrywide policy because even though it focuses on rural areas or in remote areas, it's a countrywide policy that would guarantee the territorial equity and cohesion for everyone. So as the citizens, wherever they live, so all the citizens should have the right to access to services and to opportunities in adequate conditions. And as this is the session that we're talking about the right to stay, so this policy is trying to guarantee this right to stay. This more balanced territorial distribution is benefiting everyone because it's trying to build a country that makes viable territories all around the territory, I would say, with opportunities and future for the whole society. it also would reduce pressure on large cities, and this includes, well, air quality, housing, transportation, some of the problems that we are facing right now. Also, it threatens strategic resilience, and we're talking about food, we're talking about energy, we're talking about the biodiversity, some of the most important pillars for society. And then it enables sustainable industrial development. Spain, well, right now it's getting more and more share of renewable energy, and it's occupying territories that are like remote or in rural areas. So this policy basically will try to reverse the vicious circle that was existing before, and now try to manage to guarantee some basic services, implement some socioeconomic dynamism, employment and opportunities, and create a new rural narrative. In order to do that, I think like our general director even was telling a little bit later yesterday in some session, we are trying to implement a new strategic framework in 2025 that is consists of 3 different instruments. First, the National Strategy for Territorial Equity and the Demographic Challenge. That would be a country strategy in which all administrations, the private sector, and the civil society will be involved. And that basically is trying to do an analysis that is understanding what are the challenges, what are the opportunities, and setting some goals for the whole country. And then some state action plan. That is, the name is already the 30-minute country. So this state action plan is like a group of measures to be implemented by all the ministries with some dedicated budget in order to implement this 30-minute country and fight against the population. Apart from this, there is the project of creating the Observatory of the Territorial Equity and the Demographic Challenge that basically will try to have all the data and the specific indicators that will enable us to understand what was the impact of the implemented measures and the impact of the strategic framework. And before 2025, by the end of the 2024, in the vision of like this strategic framework that has the vision of a more balanced territorial distribution, aiming to provide essential services within 30 minutes, it was in our ministry we developed a study in which, we were trying to create the functional areas, understanding like that services could be provided in a radius of 30 minutes. What did we do? We took over 36,000 population nuclei, not even municipalities, but smaller nuclei, and some Borane models. So at the end, we had 600 different functional areas obtained. These functional areas were obtained considering if there was like enough services or like services related to education, to health, and then we could categorize them. The categories that were obtained for these functional areas were first considering population thresholds. We had like different metropolitan, different urban, and different rural, and then using different indicators, we would understand like the demographic challenge. What exactly each functional area is facing? What is the challenge? So we would be from growing metropolitan area to aggravated absolute depopulation risk. Apart from this, so this division helped us to build a lot of maps in which we could understand like the indicators and understand the situation of each different geographical area. So basically, so what do we think that this tool helps, or what is the main benefits of the tool? So first, statistical analysis and policy impact monitoring. So it enables consistent tracking of these demographic trends and understanding what is the effectivity of the policy. Then identify functionality gaps. We have already like 600 areas, and we would understand if the people in some of the areas are able to achieve enough services or there is some gap. Then improved service delivery. So basically, we support different administrations in, it would support different administrations in understanding which services are lacking in which functional areas. And also inter-administrative coordination. Many times it happens that like some functional area needs some services that is provided by the national government, some by the regional government, by municipalities and so on. So basically this raises awareness of the need of collaboration to fill these gaps. And just to finish, so like conclusion, this 30-minute country, we think there is a transformative vision to guarantee equal access to services. It's a new perspective to look at the territory and not care that much about administrative boundaries, but to think about functionality of the different areas. So it promotes a new narrative of the rural because it would make it more connected, dynamic, inclusive, and a call to action. So let's build a Europe where no one is left behind. So thank you. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Cristian. Interesting presentation on the use of functional rural areas. We heard that term yesterday. This is a practical example on how it is translated to support policies around services. Thank you, Cristian. Now, we would like to touch upon the topic of multi-service hubs. And we are going to have a dual presentation. On a collaboration, let's say we're going to have a local beneficiary and the ministry that is supporting that approach in Finland. So I would like to welcome Antonia and Nina. Antonia from the Ministry of Agriculture and Nina, beneficiary or manager of a multi-service hub.
Thank you so much, Enrique. Thank you. My name is Antonia Husberg, Ministerial Advisor from the Ministry of Agriculture and Forestry of Finland. Also, I work as the Secretary General for the National Rural Policy Council. And with me, I have
Nilson.
And I'm going to start just by saying a few words about this support grant for village shops in Finland. It's a national rural policy initiative, so the funding is national, has nothing to do with leader or CAP. It is a de minimis support grant, about 10,000 per shop, but up to 15,000. We have 4 bus shops in Finland, and they can get 20,000 euros. The context is 68% of our land area is sparsely populated. 5% of the people live or are registered in sparsely populated areas. Many of them, most of them are now plus 65 or older, plus 75 even and older. We are actually living in the future when it comes to old age dependency ratio. 5% of people living in sparsely populated areas, they have a longer drive than 30 minutes to a grocery store. And the grocery stores, even if they constitute the most extensive service network in Finland, the number of small shops have diminished. And you're going to see how many shops, how much in the next slide. But the goal is for this grant to ensure and to create the conditions for basic services needed in rural areas, but not only for the residents that live there, but also the part-time residents and also businesses, for example. So the concentration of service production has been wide, and as there were 704 village shops in 2002, actually in 2025, in January, there were 155. So that's kind of the rate of how much they diminish by number. And these small shops that we provide this grant to, they complement a network of 300 larger emergency supply grocery stores that is currently being put in place. And why it is so important to have these village shops is that these, for instance, in a crisis situation, these emergency larger grocery stores, the distance to them in rural areas would be 150 kilometers. in urban areas 50. So we are talking about large areas, vast areas. So the shops apply for the grant from the National Food Authority, and it is granted also according to this, our national geographical place-based typology, urban-rural typology. So it's also an example of that. And also the shop that is granted, this has to be 7.5 kilometers from another grocery store, or it has to be very difficult to attain geographically. And about 120, 130 shops receive this grant every year, but the services, they cover about 142,000 people, plus all the part-time residents and the businesses in these areas. And now I'm going to give to Nina, and Nina will share what it means to be a village shop, not owner, but you will tell your story. You're managing it for the local community in Rautio, in northern Ostrobotnia, which is a very, very large region in Finland. I think it's almost twice the size of Slovenia.
Thank you.
And they have 14 village shops, and Rautio is one of them.
I bring you a story from the village of Rautio, North Ostrobotnia, northern Finland, 2,357 kilometers here in Pact. I'm Nina. I travel more than 30 kilometers every day to my workplace, the cooperative-driven village shop in Rautio, where I'm the manager. My story begins with a tragedy. During the corona pandemic in 2020, the village of Rautio, with its 650 inhabitants, was in a sad mood. The grocery shop service were closed down, and 3 people's jobs were taken from under them. Even if other local services for a smooth daily life, such as the post office, were in danger of being permanently relocated 30 kilometers away. I want to tell you how that situation led to where we are today, where a village shop jointly owned by villager and seasonal residents serves both their own and neighboring communities, now much more widely than before. The story starts with the will of 100 villagers and their enthusiasm that result that the village association was able to buy the property with the price of 100 euros from a national retail chain. A community-based company was set up, and the best form of company was seen as a cooperative, where the villagers themselves own part of the village shop. Shareholdings were offered to the villagers. With their contributions and a loan, a major renovation of the shop building was started, and the necessary investments in machinery were made. Bringing service back into the daily life of the village required will and voluntary work. Only work requiring some very special skills was carried out by subcontractors. In a community-based approach, 90 villagers invested 6,000 volunteers' hours to renovate the village shop, and the new village shop was opened in summer 2021. So the new village shop opened in 2021, and today the village shop employs 4 people full-time and 2 people part-time. It's more than before. We work for a cooperative of 207 people and 10 companies. We serve the whole village community and the wider community. The largest owner of the cooperative have only 6.5% ownership. The cooperative has received just over 150,000 euros in contributions from its members and has a turnover of around 1.5 million euros. The interest and repayments on the loan still put a heavy strain on the shop finances, but the operating results has remained positive year on year. For us, the most important thing is not big profits and growth, but making a smooth and safe everyday life a good life possibility where we live, work, and develop our countryside, where accessibility and availability of service make a real difference to our community. In 2022, we were named Finland's Village of the Year, and the same year we won bronze in the European Village Renewal Award. Today, the village shop is more than just a shop. It's a multi-service point for villagers and a community space. The village shop acts as a focal point and information center for the whole village. In addition to selling basic groceries, the shop offers pharmacy and post office service, fuel and building materials, cash and lottery tickets, as well as a cafe where people can enjoy a communal lunch prepared on site. The shop also includes an apartment for rent and 2 commercial premises for rent. In the summer, we open an ice cream stand where 4 young people from our village get summer jobs. The village of Rautio, like many other villages in Finland and other sparsely populated areas in Europe, is home to elder people, and almost all of them no longer have access to a car, let alone a taxi or bus service that no longer available. That is why we also offer a home transport service, which is extremely important for every security and well-being. We want to serve our community well. Any investments such as maintaining refrigeration and air conditioning equipment or replacing the bottle return machine, roofing the outdoor terrace, etc., requires money. That is why, for us, the National Village Shop Grant has been very important and enables us to do the necessary investments as mentioned before. This year, the Village Shop Grant was around 9,200 euros. We have not received any other subsidies or funding. We are too small a player, but locally, where our village shop service is critical, we are bigger than our size. Thank you.
Yeah, so just to conclude, the village shop support is small, but it's very effective. And I think that's also one thing that has been called upon in at least many of yesterday's discussions, that the grant doesn't have to be big, but it can be very effective. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We appreciate very much your experience. We have seen with small grants we can do a lot of things. People come together, rural people is willing to invest in their future, and I think Rautio is an excellent example. Thank you very much. Now we touch upon, and we will have the opportunity to continue digging deep on this concept of multi-service hubs and see whether the Rural Action Plan can work further on that topic. Now, let's quickly move on because we are getting a bit late, but I think the presentations, I think, are very inspirational, so I'm leaving a bit more time for that. You're the last one, unfortunately. Tiago, welcome from Alentejo. You participated in the Talent Booster mechanism. You will share the experience with us.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Enrique, and congrats the organization, and thank you for the invitation. It's an honor and a privilege to be in here. So my name is Tiago. I'm a member of the board of the Managing Authority of Alentejo program, and we work with the Talent Booster mechanism, and I talk this later. We manage 3 funds in our region, RDF, ESF Plus, and GTF, and we are one of the red one region, like the colleague of REGIO shows, that are on the talent trap. So what kind of work, information of our region? So our population decline make a double question related to the talent. So we decline in population, and we have a double difficult to retain and to attract talent in our region. You can see our population are mostly rural, so we have that big challenge to put the public services on the ground, on the population and on the territory, like education, housing, or health. I'm talking with the health question, but all of the public services are this kind of challenge in our region. And in the talent booster mechanism, we beneficiate the Pillar 1, the technical assistant to make a diagnostic and action plan. And like the colleague from REGIO explained, our roadmap is related to the public services and the critical question related to the health. We develop, with the help of Talent Booster Mechanism, the Alentejo Talent Observatory, and this is one of the main issues of this technical assistant. The first one is to redefine and to think together the new perspectives and the priorities of the region, and what kind of tools, and the observatory is a new tool from our region to look at the regional indicators and what kind of needs we have in our territory. So the creation of this tool is very important because explore and we can monitorize the demographic and the regional indicators. And what kind of labor markets we have in our region in terms of education and training or in job vacancies, for example, too. This observatory have an health question very, very important. You can look this example. We can count how many new doctors are hired in the city of Beja in this year. So this talent observatory is very important of the health questions. And in this particular moment, is very important because we're developing with the Universidade de Évora a new course of medicine in our region. So we don't have at this moment. And this talent observatory is very important because put the evidences and the information related to the territorial needs and health questions. The work on the talent booster mechanism and the development of Alentejo Talent Observatory is very important in the many kind of issues, but one is the sustainability of this project. So we put this talent observatory in one of the three platforms of S3 in our region. So we have three operational platforms in our smart specialization strategy, and we put the development, the implementation, and the evaluation of this talent observatory and the platform related to the skills and qualification. The name is Plaquar. So we have three operational platforms, and we put that on the Plaquar platform. And another critical point is the redefinition of priorities and the domains of our smart specialization strategy. And in this challenge period of midterm review, we put the health on one of the critical domains of our smart specialization strategy, because we know from the health professionals the things related to the research, the innovation is very important to retain and attract new professionals for our rural areas. But the funds, the EU funds, can do more. And we put some investment on the infrastructures and equipment. And at this moment, you can see Aeronews new from the building of this hospital. We developed a new central hospital that cover 500,000 inhabitants, and the cost is 200 million supported to the EU funds that close the territory many of specialties of health questions. And this new hospital have up 2,000 new professionals for our territory. So it's a very important and critical topic. Put this investments related to the new priorities of region, and you can see it, the medical talent is one of them. And you can see in this site we are creating a new medical school campus that works on the new hospital site. But in this time, it's very important to have a critical perspective of the role of cohesion policy. And I share one small experience that explains what kind of role the regions have on the territorial instruments, and the specific objective 5.2, we develop a new approach territorial instrument. The name is Partnership for Non-Urban Areas. And we develop typology, the name are Innovation Village. I share one of this typology and one of operation. The name is Aging Place in the town of Porto Alegre, are related to the new pilot process implemented with the NGOs, monitoring the health questions of our seniors, and helps to reduce the irregular institutionalization in our territory. This is very important because the development of these strategies are made with the self-assessment of GRC Sat4TER and are full aligned with the European Bauhaus. So it's an innovative perspective of the territorial instruments. And like my t-shirt said, the regions matter in this new multi-financial framework, and we need to work together to develop our regions and our rural areas. Thank you a lot.
Thank you very much.